Good morning. It's 9 o'clock sharp and time to get started. I'd like to welcome everyone to today's Filing Taxes and My DOR webinar. I will now turn it over to today's presenter, Carlin, to get started. Carlin?
Thank you, Kelly, and thank you everyone for attending. We're scheduled for an hour. The first 30 minutes or so will be presentation time. After that, we'll be available to answer questions until the hour is up. We've made a handout available for you to refer back to after the WebEx. First, let's go over some housekeeping before we get started. We will not be using the chat feature during the webinar. Instead, you'll be able to submit questions using the question and answer or Q&A feature. Click the ellipsis icon here and select Q&A. We have multiple panelists available to assist with today's webinar. Please make sure that you direct questions to all panelists here. By submitting to all panelists, your questions and information remain confidential and will not be shared with other attendees. That means you won't be able to see their questions and they won't see yours. So if you have a question, please ask. Each question is limited to 256 characters. So if you have long questions, please break them into multiple messages. We will do the same. For questions requiring additional research or detail, our panelists will collect your contact information and have someone get back to you after the WebEx. At this time, we'll disable the chat feature. Please use the Q&A to submit any questions or feedback. Today, we're going to demonstrate some of the updates we made to My DOR last September. We'll complete this list by walking through multiple scenarios as a fictitious taxpayer. None of the information we have here is real taxpayer information. It was created specifically for this demonstration. Our fictitious taxpayer is Colleen Smith, owner of Colleen Cleans, a cleaning business. She provides weekly commercial janitorial services. In addition, Colleen sells organic cleaning products to her clients for home use. She has customers in Vancouver and Yakima and began shipping products to a new client this year in Wapato. She files her returns annually electronically on My DOR. Now, if this example doesn't relate to your business activities, don't worry. Many of the tasks we demonstrate will. Also, the tips and tricks sheet that came with your confirmation email will be helpful to refer back to if you have questions in the future. So keep it handy. Let's get started. We begin on our dor.wa.gov website. To begin, we'll log in to My DOR. To do this, we can either click File Taxes Online here or the Login button here. I do want to point out, before we go any further, for the best experience, we recommend that you update your browser to the newest operating system. Let's begin by clicking the Login button. To log in, you'll need a Secure Access Washington or SAW user ID and password. If you do not have one, you can create one on our site using the Sign Up link here. If you're not sure if you have a SAW user ID, you can click here to check. You'll need to enter your email address, the one that you use to set up your account, complete the security validation, and click Find. The system will send you an email with your SAW user ID or IDs if you have multiple accounts set up. For this demonstration, we know our SAW user ID and password, so we'll click Cancel to return to the login page. We'll enter our SAW user ID and password. Again, this account was created specifically for this demonstration, and click Login. Here is the Alerts page. telling us about the new look and feel. If you've already seen this page and selected the Don't Show Me This Again box here, you won't see it. We'll select Continue. Landing on our Services page. One update we made is the big green Get Started button here. We still have the quick links available below for a direct route to specific items. But for the most straightforward and user-friendly view of your account, the big green button is the easiest option, because when you click it, you'll be taken to your new account summary page. In our example, we already have access to our excise tax accounts. If you have access, your account will look very similar to this. Another new feature is the Action Items tab, showing that we have 4 items to review. Let's see what's there. The Action Items tab has new messages, upcoming filing return reminders, and if we scroll down, business license renewal reminders. You can view messages by clicking the blue hyperlink here, and you can close read messages by clicking the X here. Now scrolling back to the top of the tab, let's go to the summary. Back on our summary tab, let's do a quick review of what's covered here. But I'm going to scroll down so we can see the whole page. At the top, we have the Excise Tax Information panel for all things tax related. Within that panel, the top section has upcoming or recently passed return information. Below that, balance and payment information. And the last section, options to view or amend returns, apply for a reseller permit, or close an account. And below that is the business license information panel. In our example, we have 2 business licenses showing, one for Yakima and one for Vancouver. The top section has business license renewals, adding city and/or state endorsements, and hiring employees or minors. The bottom section has account information, license closures, and other updates. And if we scroll to the very bottom, we see the Contact Us link here. This link will take you to the Contact Us page on our website. Let's take a look. The Contact Us page has a list of our customer support contact numbers. If you have any problems using the new system or have tax or license questions, please give us a call. Staff are available and ready to help. Now, let's look at filing an excise tax return extension. Back at the top of our summary page, we see our excise tax account information. In this example, our 2020 annual return is due April 15th. To the right is a link to request a return extension. The link will only show here if this return is eligible for an extension. If the return is overdue, the link won't be there. Let's click the link. We land on the extension request page. Let's scroll down to see the rest of the page. Just as a reminder, 30-day extensions may be granted if they are requested before the due date. If our request is granted, here's the new due date. The only required field is to select the extension reason. For our example, the business had a fire, and we're selecting natural disaster. But as you can see, there are many other reasons like COVID-19, medical emergency, or even computer system failure. We'll select natural disaster and submit. Here's the confirmation page. You'll receive a secure message about the status of your request, basically approval or denial. Let's click OK to return to the summary page. If the extension is approved, the due date showing here will be updated to reflect your new extended due date. Notice the extension link is no longer available because we've already requested an extension for this return. Next, I'm going to walk through filing an excise tax return. Click the File Return link shown here to the right. Not much has changed here with the filing of the return, just the look and feel. There's still a progress bar along the top, and we'll scroll down. Below, the same tax classifications as you filed before. Report no business is here, and an option to upload a file here. Upload a file is generally used by larger businesses and hasn't changed with the upgrade. We'll select Next to move forward. Now, the business and occupation tax. Again, this process hasn't changed, just the look and feel. Add or delete tax classifications is here. We'll enter our retailing income. And here, deductions are entered, just as before. Let's scroll down to see the rest of the page. Next, we'll enter our service income. And below, the small business credit is calculated for you. And next. State sales and use. Here, the retailing B&O amount is carried forward automatically from the last screen. We'll scroll down. And below that, the sales and use credit section. We have nothing to add here for our scenario. And next. Here's the local sales tax section. But let's scroll down to see the whole page. The locations you've previously reported are still here, along with the Add Locations button. You can remove a location by selecting the X here. In our example, Yakima changed sales tax rates during the year, so it's broken into 2 rows, January through March and April through December. We'll enter our income by location and date range for Yakima. And below, we see the alert in red, letting us know that our retail and local sales amounts do not match. There's a $300 variance. We'll not be able to proceed until this is fixed. For our scenario, we have a new location to add for retail sales. We'll click the Add Locations button here. In our example, we're adding Wapato. Click in the search bar and begin typing. The search will provide a list of matching options. Select Wapato and click OK to advance. Now we're showing Wapato, and it looks like they had a rate change this year as well. Our income was received in the last quarter of the year. We'll enter our income, and we see here that the difference between the retail sales and local sales is 0. Great. We'll click Next to move forward. Now, other taxes. In our example, we have litter tax to report. You may not have litter tax. This is just for our scenario. Let's scroll down to see the rest of the page. And below, we have the Other Tax Credits section. We don't have anything to add here for our scenario, and other tax credits are not common. We'll click Next to continue. And now a summary page. The overall layout of the summary hasn't changed much. Let's scroll down to see the entire page. Here we've got a summary of taxes paid by type, gross amount, any deductions that were taken, resulting in taxable amount, and finally tax due. And below, we see our small business tax credit calculated. We'll scroll down and enter our contact information. And next. Now, payment type. But again, let's scroll down to see the rest of the page. We're paying with ACH debit or e-check. Here. The payment options have not changed with the upgrade. We'll select Next. Now, we'll enter our payment information. As you can see, Colleen has a default bank account already set up. If you do as well, you'll see that information here. If not, you'll need to enter it. We'll enter our payment information beginning with payment date and scroll down to see the rest of the page. Below, we'll confirm our payment amount, double check everything, and move forward by selecting Next. And here is our final review. We'll scroll down to see the rest of the page. Review the information, and when ready, click Submit. Here's the confirmation page. And if we scroll down, print options, just as before. If you have any problems with filing your returns, we have the Contact Us link here. Staff, again, are available and ready to help. We'll click OK to return to the Account Summary tab. On the Summary page, the return now shows Submitted. Now, changing gears, let's look at renewing a business license. We'll scroll down, and as we discussed earlier, below we see the license accounts. We see both license renewal dates in red and links for renew business license options with both. Each license needs to be updated separately, but the process is the same. Let's take a look at the Yakima license. Click Renew Business License. And here's the license renewal page. Again, let's scroll down to make sure we're not missing anything. From here, you can update your location or ownership type. If you do change your ownership type, we see a notice. A change in ownership type may require you to file a new business license application and the phone number for any business license questions. And lastly, endorsements are here. If you cancel your endorsement, you will need to file a new business license to reinstate it in the future. By clicking Next, the system will walk you through your selected updates. We won't go through them here. Back on our Summary tab, let's take a look at some account management tips. We'll start with the Manage My Profile link here. From here, you can manage account access, edit or update bank account information, or review your drafts and submissions. And below, you can review messages or send a letter and view login activity for your account. Let's take a look at the subscribe to our mailing list link here in the access box. You'll be taken to a new page where you can sign up for text or email notifications from the Department of Revenue on filing reminders, general information, and many other topics. You'll enter your phone number or email address here, scroll through the notifications, and select your choices. At the bottom, check the box agreeing to the data privacy policy and click Next. You'll be asked to enter some account information and then have the opportunity to subscribe to mailings from other state agencies like Department of Labor and Industries or Department of Commerce. Returning to the Manage My Profile tab, we'll select Smith Colleen in the upper left-hand corner to return to the Summary tab. Back on the Summary tab, let's take a look at the More Options tab. From the More Options tab, you can again view messages and letters or send a message regarding your tax or license accounts, view, edit, or print drafts and submissions, and manage payments and returns, where you can view all of your filed returns or payments in one location. And if we scroll down, below we see the opportunity to update mailing or location addresses, trade names, and contact information. Options to manage your access to other excise and license accounts, or manage other users' access to your accounts. In licensing services, you can apply for a new business license or a license to hire household or domestic employees, like a nanny or in-home care provider. And at the bottom here, there are general public options relating to use tax, deferrals, and real estate excise tax. But those are all topics for another webinar. Let's take a look at the Add or Remove Other Users' Access in the Access box. On the Manage Customer Access page, you can add users to your account by clicking the Add User link here. You'll be guided through the process of adding a new user. Please note, to give access to another user, you will need their SAW user ID and password to proceed any further. We won't walk through it today. Returning to the More Options tab by clicking here on Smith Colleen in the upper left-hand corner, and then returning to the Summary tab. Now let's look at how to apply for, or if you already have one, view and print your reseller permit. First, scrolling down a bit to see all of the excise tax options, we see the reseller permit link here. Apply for or view a reseller permit. From the reseller permit page, you can renew your reseller permit here. If you're a contractor, the This Information link here lists additional information needed specifically for contractors to complete the application. And scrolling down, we see the Print Permit option. Let's take a look. A new tab will open showing your reseller permit. From this tab, you can download a copy of your reseller permit to your computer, or you can print the permit. I want to point out that the permit is 2 pages long. The first page has your information, and the last page has information on how and when a reseller permit can be used. The document will print on 2 pages unless you specify front and back printing on your device. Now returning to our Summary tab, let's take a look at the person icon here in the upper right-hand corner of the page. By clicking the icon, a drop-down gives you the options of accessing My Profile, as we did earlier, or logging out. If you don't log out, the system will time you out. There's also a question mark icon offering a help link. Clicking on that link will take you to our My DOR help page, where you'll find many of the answers to navigating our system, such as SAW account setup and access, business licensing and tax return filing, reseller permit information, and tips for customers with multiple businesses. Here under Education, we have options like online workshops, tutorial videos, and industry guides to help you better understand your tax obligations. And here, under Taxes and Rates, you can find information on business and occupation tax, retail sales tax, and use tax. Specifically looking at business and occupation tax, I want to point out tax classifications for common business activities. Here you'll find a list of common business activities and their corresponding B&O classifications. Take a look if you have questions about your own classification requirements. And that brings us to the end of our presentation. The quick links listed here, dor.wa.gov/mydor, or dor.wa.gov/education, and lastly, dor.wa.gov/contact us will take you to the My DOR help page, education page, and contact pages we just looked at. Our panelists will stay available until the end of the hour to answer your questions through the Q&A feature. Please remember that you can only see your own questions. You will not see questions asked by other attendees. Now's the time to ask any questions you may have involving our new system, or any other questions you have regarding your accounts. Shortly after the webinar closes, you'll receive an email with a survey link. Please take a few moments and complete the survey, letting us know what's working and what we can improve on going forward. And lastly, thank you for taking time to join us today. We look forward to your feedback. Have a great day.